Hi, this is Money Girl's guest host, Andrew Horowitz from the Disciplined Investor Podcast. And today on Money Girl, we're going to learn how to find potential stocks to invest in with the use of a quantitative screening tool. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary states that the word quantitative can have varied meanings. For our purposes, we will look at only two. Quantitative. The math definition is the resolving of problems by reducing the conditions that are in them to equations. The logic definition states that the tracing of things to their source and the resolving of knowledge into its original principles. So essentially, we're looking to utilize simple or even complex equations to find stocks that meet certain criteria through an automated system. In my book, The Disciplined Investor, I provide a blueprint of using investment techniques that I call quanta, funda, techna. The first part of that phrase is what we're going to focus on today, quantitative analysis. In the book, we go into the process in great detail, but today, I'm going to give you a compressed tutorial and a lesson on how to use MSN Money's stock screening system. This is such an important component of investing that I dedicated an entire chapter to simplifying and explaining the process in order to make it easy to get started with investing right away. Yes, anyone can do it. Here's a quick clip from the audiobook that explains some of the basic principles. Quantitative analysis attempts to remove the emotional side of the process by means of filters, screens, and searches that are based on historical facts. Quants, those who ascribe to quantitative stock theory, believe that active management, technical and fundamental analysis are complete wastes of time. In fact, hardcore quants would rather have a computer provide all of the stock picking recommendations, buying and selling and reporting, instead of an actual person. For them, human interaction adulterates the process and causes degradation of the byproduct of their efforts. What is more, they believe that the active thinking should be used during the creation of the technique, not after it is put into action. This is simply because the screen or filter needs to maintain its integrity by keeping to the original methodology. Only then can success be realized. With that in mind, realize a compromise of methodologies is probably the better model for a disciplined investor. As you know by now, there are a host of tools that you need to possess in order to achieve success. Quant analysis is the tool that will help you filter through and condense all the potential stock candidates for inclusion within your portfolio. That's just a small sample from the book, but I think it does give you, a better idea of what this process is all about. If it sounds complicated to you now, don't worry, because once you get the hang of the idea, the process is really kind of simple. What you need to do is to get your hands on a good screening tool to help with the process. The one that I recommend and use is by MSN Money, and it's provided on their Money Central website. While you can use MSN Screener for free, in order to make use of the advanced features, you'll need to have an MSN Hotmail or Passport account, which again is free, and after you've completed the quick registration, you can navigate to the MSN Money screening page. But we're ahead of ourselves. What exactly are screeners anyway? Screeners are set up to help separate and filter stocks based on your selections, which we'll call criteria. It's an unemotional way to filter through thousands of stocks to find a few that may be of interest for further research. In most screener systems, you can select 1 criteria, 2, 3, 4, or however many you would like. Each acts as an AND variable, AND. This means that in order for a stock to come through the filter, all conditions that you lay out must be true. As an example, if I were to say, I want to find the perfect shirt to wear tonight, and I use a quantitative filtering system that I just happen to have built into my closet, I could enter these criteria. Number 1, short sleeve, and number 2, button up, and number 3, blue, and number 4, less than 2 wearings. Now that should give me the exact shirt I'm looking for. What you won't get is that old red turtleneck handed down by Grandpa Irv. The variable AND acts as a requirement. If we use instead a variable of OR, we may have a similar outcome, but you would possibly get other shirts that you did not intend to get. Essentially, the AND functions as a strict filter to get you as close to an exact match as possible. In the end, what you're really after is to find a stock that matches your specific set of data points. These can be related to the stock's price or, the balance or income sheet items, things that you believe will go into the recipe to make a good stock investment. In most screeners, in order to select these items, you can simply use a drop-down list and select the key elements, or be prompted by the system with a series of questions such as large cap or small cap, all-time high stocks, or maybe even those with recent significant drops, or even the range of the price to earnings you find appropriate for your situation. Selecting screens in the MSN Money Screener, my favorite, can be based on a predetermined criterion that allows you to focus on things such as market capitalization, price to earnings ratios, volatility, revenue, and profit margins. There are several of these pre-programmed in the system already to get you started, such as the dogs of the Dow, sappy slugs, reasonable runaways, and a few others with funny names. Take your time when selecting screens. You want to make sure you're comfortable with your choices and understand what each screening criteria means and the potential of the stock it shows you. The MSN Money Screener has definitions and basic guides to get you started. So you've started using screeners and your selected filters have turned up some good potential stocks to buy. Do you now want to put all your investment dollars into that one screen result? The answer is a definite no. When investing, the best portfolio is a diversified one. Remember, there are a couple of ways to use screeners. One is just as a filtering system to find some stocks that you want to further research. The other is to use it as the investing process. For example, the S&P Sappy Slug says that you buy the top 20 stocks ranked by dividend yield that come out of the screen, hold on to these for 1 year, and then rescreen them and rebalance annually. Now, after you've done the filtering or the quantitative analysis, you might want to go back and double check on the fundamentals. You want to look for factors that may affect the stock's future, such as pending lawsuits, earnings changes, low reported levels of customer satisfaction, debt levels, etc. If you're really interested in this investment process and want to learn a lot more, seriously think about picking up a copy of any one of James O'Shaughnessy's books. He is the master on this topic. My favorite is What Works on Wall Street. It's a little technical, but it's good stuff. While this topic may be a little confusing for the beginning investor, I think once you practice a little bit with a screener, you'll get the hang of it. Go play with the MSN Money Screener and see what you think. Cha-ching! And that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in to The Money Girl. This is Andrew Horowitz sitting in for The Money Girl. I invite you to listen to my weekly podcast, The Disciplined Investor, also available on iTunes. And if you want to be more successful with your investments, download my best-selling audiobook from iTunes, The Disciplined Investor, Essential Strategies for Success. And don't forget, there's more information in the transcript of the show notes on qdnow.com. While you're there, why not get your 30-day free trial of GoToMyPC by clicking on the ad or the link to gotomypc.com/podcast. That's gotomypc.com/podcast. Be on the lookout for the first book from a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast. Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing by Mignon Fogarty will be available wherever fine books are sold on July 8th. Reserve a copy now or pre-order one from your favorite online retailer. As always, everyone's situation is different, so be sure to contact a tax or financial advisor before making important financial decisions. This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended to be the substitute for seeking personalized professional advice. Thanks for listening.